Welcome everyone. Excited to be starting this new series we call the Practical AI Tips. The motivation of this series was to share experiences we are gaining at Unravel as we've been building an AI-based solution for tackling some of the most difficult problems in observability of modern data platforms. These tips are generally applicable for any AI product or project. Today's tip is in the context of framing and designing an AI problem. And the tip essentially is as you design, make sure you're handling the customer experience for misclassified predictions. Misclassified could be false negatives or false positives. I'm going to share 3 recipes on how you can make sure that you have this experience covered in your product. So the first recipe is the obvious one, which is feedback from the customer. Within your product, have a way for the customer to specify if things are incorrect. So if you are building an email spam filter for emails that are incorrectly marked as spam, having a way for the customer to say this is not spam, which can then help the model. The second approach for handling misclassifications is a human in the loop approach. So what I mean by that is for classifications which are very close to the classification threshold or predictions which are very close to the classification threshold, the intent there would be those predictions go for a human review. So for instance, if we were doing disease predictions, you don't want false negatives for sure. That is a patient who had a disease but was predicted as not having. And false positives are still fine, they're just an annoyance. Whenever these logistic regression predictions fall very close to a specific range within your classification threshold, this is where a human review, an expert review, could be an additional step. So as a part of your design, having that defined. The third strategy for misclassifications is to have a way for the customers to specify their preference. Preference here could be really selecting the range between precision versus recall. Their tolerance for false positives versus false negatives, not missing something out, even if you get incorrect or the annoyance of false positives is sometimes acceptable as long as we are not missing out a potential false negative, that is something which shouldn't be there but filtered by the model. That's the tip. Hope you found this useful. I will see you in the next practical AI tip.